Hi, I'm Melissa with Mix in Some Magic. I'm a Disney planning expert and I'm here to mix a little magic into your day. Each week I share Disney vacation planning tips, park strategies, and a little bit of Disney history sprinkled in. Of course, I like to include lots of Disney magic. Join me, let's mix in some magic. Hello and welcome to Mix in Some Magic. I'm so glad that you are here. Today we are diving into a topic that I know a lot of people are thinking about, and that is how to save money at Disneyland because, let's be honest, Disneyland is amazing, but it's not exactly cheap. Between tickets and hotels and food and souvenirs, those costs can really add up quickly. And I know with the economy and everything that's going on right now, a lot of us are thinking like, how can we save money? Because I don't know. In my opinion, saving money is better than not saving money. So I'm always looking for ways to save money, but especially when I am at Disneyland and on vacation. So we're going to talk about all of that. I've got a lot of ideas. I've got some practical real life money saving tips that will help you still have a magical vacation without feeling like you have to take out a small loan to enjoy yourself. So we're going to be talking about ways to save before you even get to the parks, how to cut costs once you're there, and even a few insider tricks that can make a huge difference on the overall total cost of your trip. Now, before we get going, I hope everybody is ready for Halloween because it is right around the corner. I feel like October has been the longest month, but it's almost here, right around the corner. I still need to buy Halloween candy. My kids all do their own thing with friends on Halloween. And so now my husband and I just sit on our porch and we pass out candy. And it's actually kind of fun to just hang out and pass out candy to all the cute kids in their costumes. So I'm looking forward to that. I gotta buy some candy though. Candy's so expensive now, right? My gosh. And I always buy some candy that is my favorite, and I probably shouldn't. But I gotta enjoy some candy on Halloween too. Halloween is on a Friday this year, which is so nice. I think it should always be on a Friday. I don't think they would ever change that, but it's nice that it's on a weekend so people can do their thing and then not have to get up and go to school the next day. So looking forward to Halloween, and then after that, it's like a mad dash to the end of the year with Thanksgiving and the holidays, and then it's 2026. So holy cow, crazy times. But if you are thinking, I just said 2026, and that reminded me that my 2026 Disneyland crowd calendars are out. So if you're interested in those, make sure you check them out. They're on my website. I'll put a link down in the description so you can click on that and go check out the 2026 crowd calendars. All right, let's start with the big ticket items, the things that are going to save you the most money, and that is tickets and hotels. Because if you can save money there, you're already going to be able to save hundreds of dollars. Now, a little tip, if you can travel during the off season, then that can be really helpful because hotels are cheaper during the off season. And I'm talking like mid-January to early February, or maybe like mid-August. I mean, there's really not a lot of off season anymore, especially because Disneyland has been doing sales during their off season to get more people to their parks. But if you can avoid going like in July when everybody else is visiting, or over spring break or things like that, hotels know that they're going to be more demand for their hotels, so they raise their prices. So if you can take your kids out of school, then you're likely going to be able to get a better deal on a hotel. Next, make sure you buy your tickets through Getaway Today. They're my travel partner. I've been using them for 20 years. They are amazing. They've got great customer service. Their tickets are always discounted off the gate price, and I recommend that you get your hotel through them too, because you're going to save money. They have really great deals on hotels. They partner with, I think, over 40 hotels in the Disneyland area, and they negotiate with these hotels to get you a really good rate. So get your hotels through them. To save the most money, you should book one of their hotels that is running a special. So you'll be able to see it on their website, or if you call Getaway Today, then they can tell you. But they always have some hotels that have like as buy 3 nights, get the 4th night free, something like that. So I always like to book those ones. Then I partner it with their discounted tickets and it saves a ton of money. I'll put a link to them down in the description, but you can also give them a call at 855-GETAWAY and tell them that Mix and Some Magic sent you. Now, I know that park hopping sounds fun. Like, it's fun to jump back and forth between Disneyland and California Adventure Park. But honestly, there is plenty to do in each park for a full day or even two. So if you stick with the single park tickets, then you're going to save a ton of money for your family. You don't need a park hopper. You're probably not going to use it enough to make it worth it. And I would rather you save that money or put it towards something more valuable like Lightning Lane Multipass. Now, before we move on from these big ticket things, then I want to talk a little more about hotels because staying off property is probably one of the easiest ways to save. I mean, I like staying at the Disneyland Hotel, don't get me wrong, but hotels nearby are a fraction of the price. They're still within walking distance, and it just makes more sense to stay off property if you are looking to save money. You're not going to get enough value to justify the cost of staying on property if you are on a budget. Some of my very favorite places to stay are the Anaheim Hotel, the Howard Johnson. I like the Best Western Stovall's, Castle Inn and Suites. There's all kinds of hotels that are so much cheaper, and they often have like really great perks. Like they'll have free parking or they'll do a free breakfast or different things like that. And if you can get a hotel within walking distance that has a free breakfast that has an affordable rate, I feel like that's like the sweet spot. That's the hotel that I always look for, is one that fits all of those things, because I can save money. You're saving money on food for breakfast. You can walk so you don't have to worry about transportation. I just really love it. So I'm going to put a link also in the show description to a bunch of my hotel reviews where they have discounted rates and things like that. So you can check that out, kind of browse that and see if any of those hotels strike your fancy. Or if you want to send me a DM on Instagram, you can totally do that. Tell me about what you're looking for and I can point you in the right direction for a hotel. Now, like I mentioned, bundle your hotel and tickets together with Getaway Today to save the most money. Now, another thing that I recommend if you're trying to save money is consider shortening your trip by a day. And I know that sounds like crazy and awful, but hear me out. Most families can like comfortably see everything they want in 3 or 4 park days. So maybe if you were going to go for 4 days, but you're on a budget, maybe you go for 3 days instead. And if you add up all the money that you save on your hotel, like one night in a hotel, that's a big savings right there. Food for all of those days, like the cost of the tickets, things like that, cost of Lightning Lane Multipass, then you're really saving a bunch of money, but you're still having the really great experience at the same time. So if you're on a tight budget, think about that. Cutting out one day might be a good idea. Now let's talk about once you're in the parks, because that's where it is really easy to lose track of spending and go off the rails a little bit, but a little planning goes a long way. My first tip is plan a rest day. So instead of like back to back to back to back park days, take one day off in the middle and try not to spend much money on that day. Like go to downtown Disney, shop around, hang out at your hotel pool, like sleep in. Try to save a little bit of money on that day off, and it kind of gives you a little breather. You get to rest from the parks. I always recommend a rest day if you are going multiple days because it's just nice. And it makes you feel like you're on more of a vacation than like a marathon race through Disneyland. But it will save you the cost of park tickets for the day, and that can help save a little bit of money. Next, it's decide beforehand what your splurges are going to be. So maybe it's like a special meal that you're going to have, or a souvenir that everyone gets to pick out, or maybe you're all going to do like a little snack crawl through the parks and try a bunch of different treats. Whatever it is, decide ahead of time. It helps keep things like on track instead of your kids being like, can I buy this souvenir? Can I buy this souvenir? All day long, every day, then you're like, no, we're buying, everyone gets one, here's your price limit, and you get it at the end of the trip. or you're like, no, we're not going to go to all these sit-down restaurants because we are going to eat here on this day. So if you're going to do a splurge, decide ahead what it's going to be so you don't splurge on anything. Next is think about Lightning Lane MultiPass. If you are really trying to save money, then you can skip it. Like, you're definitely going to spend more time in line, but it's going to be okay, especially if you're visiting on a lower crowd day and with a solid rope drop strategy and kind of navigating the park smartly. Then you can easily ride most of your must-do attractions without paying extra for Lightning Lane. Now, I do like Lightning Lane because it really does help you maximize your time. So it is still valuable, but if you are really on a budget and looking to save money, then that's something you might want to think about skipping. Another thing you can do is to bring your own stroller if you need one. Disneyland stroller rentals are convenient, but they're pricey and they add up. You can also rent from off-site companies. They'll deliver it right to your hotel, and that helps with the cost, but they're still expensive. Like, if you can bring your own stroller, you're saving a lot of money right there, and I recommend that. Okay, now let's talk about food, because this is where like budgets go to die if you're not careful, because Disneyland food is delicious, but the cost of those churros add up so quickly. So first thing you can do is start your day with breakfast at your hotel. If you have a hotel with free breakfast, all the better. That's amazing. Get a good meal in before you get to the parks. But if you don't, you might want to think about bringing your own food to your hotel, or you can order. I've ordered lots of times from Instacart, and they'll deliver it to your hotel for you. And keep stuff in your hotel room and eat breakfast before you go. Like, even if it's just some cereal and yogurt and a granola bar, things like that, it's a huge savings compared to grabbing breakfast inside the park. Plus, it's going to save you time as well because you don't have to stop for breakfast first thing in the morning. Along those same lines is bring snacks. Disney allows outside food. They have a really, really lenient outside food policy. Like, we've brought in full lunches before. You just can't have glass containers. You can't bring in alcohol, but you can pack sandwiches. You can pack chips. You can pack fruit, drink, soda, like all the things. And if you're bringing in your own snacks, then that makes a big difference. So pack your own snacks. It'll save you from buying a $6 pretzel every time someone's a little bit hungry. You can also bring in your own water bottles. And seriously, skip the bottled water in the park. And it's, oh man, it's so expensive. I can't believe it. It's seriously crazy. There are water refill stations and drinking fountains everywhere, and most of the quick service restaurants will also give you free cups of ice water. So bring a refillable water bottle. Even if you're just refilling up your plastic water bottle, that's great too, but don't plan on buying water at the parks. Now, I already talked about lunch a little bit, but you can easily bring in your own food. We've done that lots of times, especially when my kids were little and I knew they weren't going to really eat a whole kids meal anyway. I bring Uncrustables and nobody ever cared. They're just happy to be eating their lunch. So bring in your own food. You can bring in your own lunches, but also Disneyland's portions are often pretty big. So you can usually split things, especially if you have kids. Or I'll often order things off the kids' menu because it's just the right amount of food for me. So you can really stretch your budget that way if you're packing your own lunch, having breakfast at the hotel, and then just eating one meal a day in the park and being kind of frugal with that meal. Along those same lines, I skip the sodas. And I hate this because soda is my favorite. I love it so much. But it's expensive. At those sit-down places, it's like $5 or $6 for a soda, and the bottles are just the same price. It's a lot of money, and if you're buying multiple sodas multiple times a day for multiple people, it really adds up quick. So skip the sodas, maybe bring your own into the parks. I've done that a lot, or you could even bring like just the little packet water flavorings if you want to make your water more fun. Just get water though. It's gonna save you a lot of money. And it's like, I hate telling you this because it makes me sad just saying it. I don't want water all day long, but it really does save a lot of money. Now, if you are craving a soda and you're doing at a sit down, like you're having a sit down meal, then that's the place to get it because refills are free. So that's a good place to get your soda because maybe you can kind of like get your money's worth a little bit better. Now, character dining is another place you can really save money because it is adorable, it is fun, I love it so much, but it is not budget friendly. It is so expensive, and you can meet plenty of characters around the park, and it's included with your park ticket. You don't have to pay extra. So consider skipping those pricey breakfast buffets unless it's something you've really budgeted for because they're cute and they're fun, but not when you're trying to save money. One of the very best ways you can save money is to be prepared because Disney sells everything but at a premium price. So things like ponchos and sunscreen and basic medications, don't wait to buy them in the park unless you want to pay triple because Disney has sunscreen and they will happily sell it to you, but you are going to pay dearly for it. So make sure you have anything that you think you're going to need. Just bring it with you so you already have it and then you don't have to pay extra. Now, there's times where you forget things and you just have to go and buy them. Like my son, when he was, I think, like 13, he forgot deodorant. And I noticed, like halfway through the day, I'm like, you smell so bad. And it was rough. I'm like, we have to go buy deodorant. And we were able to find some in the park for sale, but it was expensive. But it was like a necessity because he had forgotten it. And that kid needed it desperately. So we had to buy it. So sometimes you have to buy those things, but don't like go in there planning on it. Oh, we'll just buy sunscreen at Disneyland. Oh, if someone needs Advil, we're just going to buy it at Disneyland. We'll just buy a poncho at Disneyland. Don't do that. Bring everything that you think you might need. Just bring it with you. It'll save you a ton of money. And along those same lines, like pack a smart bag. Is that what I'm trying to say? Pack a smart park bag. That's what I'm trying to say. Think of like what you might need and pack in their snacks and water bottles and wet wipes and Band-Aids and hand sanitizer and an extra phone charger. All those little things add up. If you forget them, then you're going to be paying dearly. So be mindful and thoughtful about what you're packing and what you think you might need. You can also bring your own Disney gear. You can buy like shirts and mini ears and autograph books online ahead of time. And they've got some really adorable things out there, and you're going to pay a fraction of what you would inside the parks. And once you get there to the parks, you kind of like get in this zone where you're like, I need a mini shirt. Why am I not wearing, like a Mickey Mouse sweatshirt? Why don't I have one of those? I'm just here in my normal sweatshirt and it just doesn't feel right. And a lot of people love to have their Disney gear, and kids love it too. So if you think about that beforehand and buy stuff at the dollar store or at Walmart or online, wherever you buy stuff, they all have Disney things. Get those things beforehand and they're going to be ready to go and super happy, and you won't feel that pressure to buy things for crazy prices when you are in the parks. Now, another little tip I have is if you have a little one going to the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, they sell princess dresses there and they are gorgeous. They're amazing, but they are so expensive. When my girls were little and we went there, then I would always buy them a new dress, but I would get them a new dress online or at the store before we went, and we never paid for the dresses and they never really cared because they had a brand new dress that they were excited about to wear that I bought beforehand for way, 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 way less money. Now, if you have a little one that would love to do the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, but they're so expensive, they really are, then skip like the high-end makeover and do one at your hotel room before you go. Like, get them all dressed up in their princess dress and buy some glittery makeup and hair stuff and put it in and dress them up, do a makeover before you go to the park in the morning. And I think they would probably be just as happy. Next, let's talk about souvenirs. I know this is where a lot of families go overboard, so let's talk about it. So I recommend setting a souvenir budget ahead of time. So tell your kids and yourself how much you'll spend on souvenirs before the trip, and keep expectations realistic and kind of decide beforehand how much you're going to spend, what each person gets to spend. And this really helps prevent impulse buys because you're like, wait a second, is this really what you want? Because, we're not buying something else. And it helps keep expectations realistic before you even get to the parks. So I think setting a budget can be super helpful. And you can pre-buy a lot of souvenirs before you go. You've got the Disney plushies that are adorable. You can get them online for way cheaper. Maybe your kid's going to love a bubble wand. Just get a bubble wand before you get to the parks, or like those light up toys, things like that. I would buy a bunch of stuff like that and then not show my kids. And then I would pull it out as a surprise, keep them in my backpack, and then pull them out as we're going through our park day. Like, oh, look how fun that bubble wand is that kid has. Well, guess what? Here's a bubble wand for you. And they were all just so excited. So you can buy souvenirs beforehand and you're going to save a lot of money. You can also take your own photos because PhotoPass is great. If you're getting Lightning Lane Multipass, it's included. And so you might as well use it and have photographer take your picture. But if you're just going to buy PhotoPass on your own, I don't ever recommend that. It is not worth the money. And you don't need it. You can easily hand your phone to a cast member. They will happily take your picture for free. They do it all the time. You can still capture all those magical moments without paying extra. And there's always people around that are willing to take your picture. I can't tell you how many times I have been taking like a picture with my husband or kids in front of the castle, and someone will walk up to me and say, hey, can I take that picture for you? And I'm like, sure, thank you. And so they take a picture and then they'll say, would you mind getting one of my family? I'm like, of course. And so you just can swap. There's always somebody. Don't be afraid to ask even a stranger at Disneyland to take your picture because 9 times out of 10, they're going to be happy to do it. And don't forget to collect the free souvenirs because they do have free things. Like you can get a park map. Give your kids a park map right when you walk into the parks. They're going to have the best time going through, finding the different attractions. It's really cute. And then it's a fun little keepsake when you get home. You can also get the celebration buttons like the I'm celebrating a birthday or different things like that. Those buttons are free, so you can get those. They also have like stickers sometimes cast members will hand out, which are cute and fun. And those things are all free, so you might as well get them. Now, we've talked about it a little bit before, but one of the biggest ways to save money and stress is just to have a solid plan before you go. That's exactly why I created my Disneyland planning packages. So I recently created these packages and they come with everything you need to plan your trip efficiently. Like there are so many tips and tricks on there. Like I talk about like parades and fireworks and where to stand and ride or switch and how to rope drop and how to use Lightning Lane Multipass. And here's hotels that I recommend staying at and all kinds of helpful tips because when you're planning a trip, especially if you're trying to stay on budget, then you just don't have time to like scour the entire internet trying to figure out how to do Disneyland. Some of the packages come with my touring plans. Now I have 5 different touring plans and 2 of the packages come with all 5. And it's a really good thing to have a bunch of different touring plan options. So I've got touring plans in there. I've got packing lists. I've got just printables after printables after printables, so many printables to help you plan your trip. So if you're a printable person and like to like write things down like I do, then those will be helpful too. So I tried to put everything that I have ever needed or used when I am planning a Disneyland vacation all together in one place so that you can have it and use it, and it will really help you plan your vacation. And if you have a solid plan, it's a great way to stay on track and to save money and to have the very best vacation that you can. So if you want to check those out, I'll put a link down in the description so you can check those out as well. Now, when my kids were little, we would try to travel to Disneyland maybe every other year. And when you're traveling with a large family, then you always have to do what you can to save as much money as you can. At least we did. We weren't going to go to Disneyland if we weren't able to do it on a budget. So we did a lot of different things to save money. I would start like a year out in advance and save a little bit off the grocery budget every single month. And I would keep my eye out for Disney themed toys that went on sale. I remember one year my neighbor put a big box on the side of the street that said free. And I was driving past it and I noticed there were Disney princess plushies in it. And I went over to the box. I mean, she was just barely setting it down. And I was like, "Are you getting rid of these?" And she's like, "Yeah, I just thought I'd see if anyone in the neighborhood wanted them before I took them over to Goodwill." And I went through the box and there was like 8 of these Disney princess plushies. And my girls were just right in that age. And so I took all of them and I hid them away. And then I passed them out to them on the, while we were on our trip here and there. And they were so excited for these Disney plushies that I got for free. So I feel like if you're mindful and paying attention and kind of like have that in the back of your mind that you're looking for these things that are on sale, then they pop up. Maybe someone doesn't give you a box of free plushies, but you might be able to find other things on sale or, things like that. Or maybe you're like, someone's asking what they can give your kid for Christmas and they don't really need any more gifts. So you say, how about you give us a Disney gift card that then they can use on their trip to buy a souvenir, different things like that. We also sometimes I felt bad that we were packing in lunches for our kids, but it saved us so much money and they never cared one bit. Nobody was ever mad eating their Uncrustable while we were sitting there under, like in a little shady section of the park. They were little and they just were happy to be at Disneyland and they didn't care that we weren't eating a hamburger, things like that. So I feel like we saved the most money on tickets, hotels, and food because that can really make or break it. Now, a few years, more than a few years ago, but years ago, our very first trip to Disney World, we went with my husband's parents and they didn't see the grandkids very often. And they were like, "Hey, what if we just really want to make this a fun trip? So are you okay if we buy them like extra treats and snacks and things like that?" And at this point, my kids had been to Disneyland quite a few times, but I don't think they even really knew that you could buy snacks and treats at Disneyland. Like they'd never had an ice cream bar from Disneyland or churro or like anything like that. They'd never had a Mickey Mouse pretzel. They didn't even know those things existed, I don't think, because we had never wanted to pay for them, so we never did. And so my in-laws said, "Can we just splurge and get them some things?" And I said, "Sure." So we were at Disney World for, I think, 4 days. And oh my gosh, my in-laws went crazy and bought them all kinds of things. Like every time we passed a cart with Mickey pretzels, they're like, "Does anybody want a Mickey pretzel?" And then same with churros and ice cream bars and the popcorn and all this stuff. Like my kids were in heaven. They had no idea that all these things were possible. Plus they got them multiple souvenirs and all these things. And I kept telling them, I'm like, "This is not how we do Disneyland. Just so you know, this is extra fun because Grandma and Grandpa are here. But next time we go to Disneyland, we will likely be going back to our old ways. So don't get too comfortable in this." And it was fine though. Like, I don't know, at least my kids were just happy to be there. They didn't care so much that we were buying all the things and getting all the snacks all of the time. Now, as they did get older, then we would give them their souvenir money, like when they were teenagers. And my teenagers would, instead of buying a souvenir, because there was nothing around that they were really excited about, they would often spend that on snacks and treats of their own. So you could also do something like that. Be like, "Hey, you get this much money to buy a souvenir and you get this much money to choose one snack a day or one treat a day," or something like that. But I think like talking about it beforehand and setting some realistic expectations about what to expect around souvenirs and food and treats is always a good idea. Okay, this has been fun. So let's just recap a little bit. Grab your tickets and hotels, a getaway today. Bring your own snacks and water. Pack smart. Bring your own stroller. Skip the splurges that aren't really important to you. Don't feel like you have to do everything like the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique and the character dining. Like, those things are okay to skip. So Disneyland is expensive, yes, for sure, but it doesn't have to be like crazy expensive. You can definitely do it on a budget. So I hope that these tips have been helpful. I'm going to put those links that we talked about to like my planning packages, and I can't remember what else we talked about, but I will figure it out and I will put the links down below. Getaway Today, there'll be a link down below for that, of course. But thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this has been helpful because we are all looking for ways to save money for sure. All right, I will be back next week for Patreon members, and for everyone else, I will see you in 2 weeks. Thanks so much for listening. We'll talk soon.